Yo, Salaam nerds. It's your boy Neebs, aka Watchmate Neebs, and I'm here with my co-host Jazz, aka DJ Jazz 1000.
DJ Jazz 1000. Do I want to know what this is?
Jazz, we hit 1,000 subscribers here on YouTube, bro. Wow.
Hey,
It took us a
we did
while
it.
to get here. Bro, it took us a while to get here, but we got here. And the cool thing about 1,000 is that if we get a few more numbers up, we can get in their partnership and we can become paid, people getting paid. What are those people called that get paid? Employees.
Right? Professionals? I don't know.
Professionals. I don't know what they're called, but we would be one of them. That'd be really, really cool. But yes, congrats to us for 1,000 subscribers on YouTube.
We did it.
I love YouTube, man. I feel like people who don't show up to the YouTube stuff are missing out. They're definitely missing out.
Yeah, I agree. Like, YouTube's where we can interact with y'all live and, bring some of your comments on screen. Come to YouTube, guys. It's great.
I know. It's so much fun because I like interacting with people. And we had a new intro. Did you see the new intro?
I did, yeah.
We got some pictures and stuff in there.
I like this comment right here, Ruby's saying, turns out this podcast really late in real people time. She's
yeah.
so
yeah, and people on the East Coast, man, we're always like, oh god, the podcast is so late. Everyone else is like 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock their time. And I'm just like, okay. But like I feel like 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, people still got stuff to do. 10:30 is like the perfect time. It's like, you like watched all your shows, you have nothing else to do, you're just resting, and you're gonna just, turn on YouTube and watch a couple of guys talk about current events, reality TV, and superheroes.
Yeah, I like it. That's what I'm here.
I love it. Yes, East Side is the best side. People in the comments love the East Side. That's right. All right. Sorry, Jazz. Sorry. Yo, you got a new flag in your background. What's this flag about?
Oh man, this is an anime show that I watch called One Piece.
Yeah.
And the big news here is that, the main character has like 5 transformations, and we finally got to the 5th one after 20 years of watching the show.
Wow.
So, yeah. In fact, some streaming sites went down yesterday just because there was so much demand for people trying to watch it. So it was great.
That's crazy. So I just started One Piece, and I'm on episode 25. So I got a long way to go. It's like 1,000 episodes. But I'm getting there.
This was episode 1071. So
1071.
it was hype.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. I've been watching the show since I was 12 years old.
Damn. And I've been watching this show since we started the podcast. So it's a long,
Don't worry. In fact, I actually recommend a website called onepace.net. It cuts out all the bullshit and like all the filler like animation in between scenes. So it'll speed it up quite a bit. I recommend that.
No, I need to take it in all. I need to take all of it in.
All right. Good luck.
I want all 1,071 episodes. I don't want to miss any references.
Oh, trust me, you will love this show, man. Like, people think it's just a cartoon. No.
There's curse words in like the first season. And I was just like, what the hell? It's pretty interesting. It was a little rough to get to the first 25. I'm not gonna lie. The animation is pretty old. Since you did start it when you were 12, so I'm guessing the animation is a little old.
Yeah, the show started in like 1999, so
yeah, it takes a little while to get used to the animation, get used to the way they're speaking and talking. But if you like shows like One Piece and Avatar: The Last Airbender, I would really recommend this new show called My Adventures with Superman on a channel that I can't promote technically, but it is really cool. It's an anime version of Superman, and it's really, really interesting. All the characters are redesigned, and they're very, very different.
Yeah. Before we get into any news like that, because I know Rocky's going to join us shortly, let's get the reality TV stuff out of the way.
All right, let's do some reality TV stuff. All right, listen. For our reality TV fans, by the way, Ruby, you finally watched an episode and you weren't on when we were talking about the one episode you actually watched. Like, what happened there? I was really disappointed that you didn't show up in the comments on YouTube. All right. So remember there were 2 Bachelorettes a few seasons ago, Gabby and Rachel? Yeah. Turns out Gabby is gay. That came out of nowhere. She just released that she is dating a woman now.
Well, good for her.
Good for her, right? But like didn't see that coming. That came out of nowhere. She's dating a comedian named Robbie Hoffman, and she was like, she broke the news in her Instagram, and she was like, "Told you I was a girl's girl."
All right. Well, good for her. I hope she finds happiness, and we wish her the best of luck.
Yeah, maybe it's a good thing she didn't end up with any of the losers on her season, because maybe this was the path for her all along.
I had a lot of opinions about the guys on that season, so yeah, good for her.
You think the guys were so bad that they just like turned her?
God damn.
Right? You never know.
Oh man, you're that shit of a guy.
They must have been horrible. Imagine being so horrible that she just switched teams.
Yeah, no comment.
I don't know. All right. The next Bachelor stuff that's going on in reality TV is Kaitlyn broke up with her fiance, Jason Tetrick, after 4 years of being together. And Kaitlyn was the Bachelorette maybe like 5 years ago.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know who this is.
Yeah, she got with this guy named Sean, and then I believe his name was Sean, or maybe I don't know. Where's Anissa when you need her? I know all the stuff that's happening now, but some of the stuff is so far, like after like 5 years, I can't remember. But she dated this guy. It didn't work out, and then this guy Jason was on a different season, and they kind of met on her podcast, and they hit it off, and they got together.
Cool.
Maybe I should start bringing on girls to the podcast, and maybe we can hit it off. Maybe this would be my next dating experiment. Just bring women onto the podcast and try to charm them.
Don't you dare ruin our podcast with your horrible dating ideas.
Well, I would have to be charming first in order to do that.
Oh my god,
man! You know, I got into like a little fight in a group chat. I don't know if you're in that group chat, but
was it Trey Brownies or?
Yeah. There was some girl talking about like the Barbie movie, and some guy was just like, I don't know, trying to like, what are the party poopers? They're just like, that movie is really just all about consumerism and this and that, right? And
oh
like,
no, not like every other movie in the world's about consumerism, like
right? And I'm like, and I was like, listen, I never hear any of this shit about consumerism when it's IP like Marvel, Super Mario, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Is always when it's a girl or a female-led project, where you hear people all of a sudden become champions of like anti-consumerism, which is sus. But yeah, and I kind of just plug my podcast, and I'm like, hey, if you guys really want to know what we think of Barbie, here's our podcast, and we go in depth with the sociologist, and here's what we thought of Oppenheimer, where we go in depth with an engineer, So it was I got into an argument with a few people, but I plugged our podcast. So even in these little fights, I find a way to plug our podcast.
Yes. No better way to deal with hate
I know.
To get people to come watch our podcast so we make more money and prove the consumerism point further.
The guy accused me of being a white knight and coming to the rescue of this girl, and I was like, I'm not coming to her rescue. I'm just plugging my podcast.
Yep, just like Ruby says, all press is good press.
All press is good press. All right. So that was reality TV news, but there is some more reality TV. Oh, speaking of Barbie, did you see what Malala wrote in her Instagram?
I did, yeah.
She wrote, so Malala got in. You know how in most movie theaters they have a little Barbie box and people get in? She wrote with her husband, this Barbie has a Nobel Peace Prize, and he's just Ken. Which I thought was really, really cute. And then he commented under, and that's enough.
Yeah, perfect. Great. He got the point of the movie.
He got the point of the movie. We love that. We love that. And then there's some weird stuff going on right now, man. Have you heard the stuff about Lizzo?
I have, and oh my god.
That's so weird.
Yeah, I didn't expect that from her.
Right? like we were championing Lizzo when she was on The Mandalorian. We were like, all right, all the people were hating on Lizzo, and we were just like, yo, Lizzo's the best. Maybe not so much.
If these allegations are true, man, it looks real bad for her. Like,
so here's the thing, right? So these allegations seem to be true, and then a lot of people who are not related to this lawsuit also came out and said that they're true. And I know somebody who has it on good authority that it is true, and this person has been on our podcast before.
oh damn.
Yeah, this person has been on our podcast. She is an actor. She is in the industry.
Well, that narrows it down.
I know. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oops. But yes, I did hear her say that she isn't surprised about the Lizzo stuff, and she's heard stuff for a while. I don't know. And like parts of it is like, okay, a lot of these people like Beyonce, Lady Gaga, whoever it may be, these performers that put on shows, they expect excellence, right? Like they expect like, everyone giving their top effort. Like to be a Beyonce backup dancer, you got to be like the best of the best. But like that abusive stuff and the weight stuff, that is weird.
Yeah.
Coming
Or
from
making
somebody,
them walk like 10 miles to get cheesecake or something. Like,
okay, that part was so weird. I thought that was a joke because if you ever watched the Chappelle show, there's a skit that he does where like Diddy used to have a show called Making the Band back in the day, and he'd be like, "Go to Brooklyn and get me some Cambodian breast milk." Like he would make them do stuff like that. So when they said they would make them walk to get cheesecake, I thought they were making a reference to like the Chappelle show skit, but no, they actually did that. That's wild.
oof. Yeah. I guess we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's not looking good.
That doesn't make any sense. Like, first of all, why walk, right? And like, what's so good about this cheesecake? I don't know, because I am in the area and I kind of want to try the cheesecake. I want to know what's so good about it.
I've been in Brooklyn. Cheesecake site. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anik said it was cookies and Cambodian breast milk.
Cambodian breast milk.
That's right. About what he says, women spend more money, and if the wage gap closes, women's money becomes more powerful. Maybe scared of that. Oh, about the guy who didn't like that the movie was female led. Carlos is in the comment. We love Carlos. No one gets plugged like Salaam nurse. Yes. Listen,
and we're gonna plug Carlos. Like Carlos is great. He's with the Agents of Fandom podcast. Amazing.
We love Carlos, and Carlos is one of the funniest guys I know. And every time Carlos plugs us, an angel gets his wings. Oh man, that'd be awesome. All right, so that was a bunch of the Lizzo news, which, oh man, I don't know, man. That part really hurt me.
I'm hurt by it. Yeah.
But like, you would think, right, from her, that it would be the last thing you expect. The last thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold my breath there. So we'll see.
Yeah. There's a lot of people on TikTok who do like allegations and stuff, and they like go through their actual like list of like legal documents and stuff and say like what's really happening and how bad is it. And someone said, yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, no, I believe it. I've seen the documents and oof, yeah. I'm not happy. Like I was a big Lizzo stan, and this is just not okay.
I know. Oh, yeah. That's really sad. Speaking of sad news, few people passed away. Few people passed away this week, bro. Paul Rubbens, Pee Wee Herman, R.I.P. That was pretty sad. I was a big fan of Pee Wee's Big Adventure, the one where the bike got stolen.
Yeah.
As someone whose bike got stolen a lot, that movie really hit home.
No, Pee Wee was always a part of my childhood. Like, just like him, Fred Rogers. Like, when these kinds of greats pass away, it hurts a bit more than just like anyone else. So yeah.
Did you know like there were a lot of big stars in the Pee Wee Herman show? Like Lawrence Fishburne was a cowboy on that show.
I had no idea.
Yeah, he used to wear like sparklers and a pink pants and like a cowboy hat. Like Lawrence Fishburne was on there. And then John Singleton was a PA on that show. And that's where Lawrence Fishburne met John Singleton, and John Singleton was just a PA, and he goes, "Hey man, I'm gonna make movies one day. I'm in film school, and one day I'm gonna make a movie just for you." And then you know what happened?
Wow.
John Singleton wrote Boys in the Hood, and he
Wow.
he cast Lawrence Fishburne in that role. And executives wanted to use somebody else, and he fought for Lawrence Fishburne to be in that movie.
Wow.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah. That's amazing.
That's so crazy. So you never know where you might meet people, man. That's insane.
Damn, dude. Like, but that's really cool that after all this time, they like that came through.
Yeah, and he was just a PA, and he said like him and Lawrence Fishburne just hit it off. And like while he was talking to Lawrence Fishburne was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get a coffee. Do you want one?" And he brought him back some coffee. So like, imagine like a big star. Like, well, he was probably wasn't a big star back then, but still, like he said the atmosphere of that crew was so nice. It felt like a family. So you had like somebody who's a star getting coffee for a PA, and they were just talking about how great that was.
That's amazing. Yeah, you don't see that often, so that's really cool.
Yeah, and he's been in like a bunch of other stuff too. People remember. I mean, he had a resurgence after he got blacklisted for a while for doing some inappropriate stuff in a movie theater, which I didn't even know those kind of movie theaters existed. That's just weird. But like, what else would you do in that movie theater? I don't know. That's just weird as hell. The 90s were a weird time. I can't believe people had these theaters.
No comments.
90s were a weird time. That was wild. Also, speaking of death, Angus Cloud passed away, and I don't think you watch Euphoria, Jazz, but he was literally the best character on Euphoria. Like, he was probably one of the only reasons I watched. He was such a good actor. He was so chill. Before his break in Euphoria, he was literally just like a waiter. Like, he was a waiter in Brooklyn. Like, people have videos of him cleaning their tables before he became like a big star. And it's just sad that like he passed away, and mental health issues and stuff, man, is really sad. I think his dad passed away a little bit before, and
yeah, this guy was what, 25 or something?
25, man, like a baby.
Yeah, I saw the news. I don't watch Euphoria, but I did see the news about this one, and yep, that hurts too. Like, he's younger than both of us. Like,
I
wow.
know. He's such a great talent, man. Like, he had a future. He had a huge future, but I don't know, man. That's that. I don't want to recommend that show, to be honest. It's not a great show, but his acting in there is really, really good. Maybe look up like YouTube clips of his scenes, because he was a great actor. It was a big loss.
Yeah, so, I'll definitely do that then, at least.
Yeah. Well, speaking of actors,
give me some happy news now.
No, we're not in happy news yet. There's some all right, fine. You want me to skip the bad one and go to a happy one? I was gonna wait for Rocky to get here before we do the happy stuff.
Okay, well then, you know what? Leave the sadness. Like, let's go with more of it.
More sadness. Let's do a little bit more sadness. All right. There's a lot of bad news this week, man. I don't know why I'm laughing. I'm so nervous.
I'm laughing because you're laughing. Like, it's so bad.
There's so much bad news this week. What is going on here?
All right, lay it on me.
Stephen Amell. I don't know if you heard about him. He was Green Arrow on the show
and
Arrow.
He was gonna be Erdogan.
Yeah, and he's on this new show called Heels, and yeah, man, he is saying some messed up stuff, man. He is not being super supportive of the strike. He said he thought it was stupid. Like, people are calling him a scab, and like, he was promoting a lot of his TV show on social media, and then he took it off. So first of all, he was actually scabbing in terms of actually promoting this, and then he was saying he doesn't think it's useful, and he thinks it's like, reductive. And here's the thing: yes, striking is difficult and it hurts both people, but
that's the point.
That's the point of it, right? And like, you don't also, how are you gonna say something is dumb and not offer another solution or another way? You're just critiquing something, which is really
our job.
Option.
That's our job. We're here to critique.
But like, if you're gonna critique something, like even when we do it for TV shows, right? If we critique something, I show an example of like where they've done it better.
Yeah.
Right.
really one of our biggest critiques of most shows. Like, it's 6 episodes. Do more episodes. It's not hard.
That is our biggest critique. 6 episodes, yeah, right. And then that critique is valid because other shows have done more episodes, and we can see it being clearly successful, like Andor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He did try to apologize and explain it better, but I read that apology, and it actually, honestly, that apology made it seem worse.
Yep. It's like Unique said, yeah, he tried to apologize and didn't make it any better. Carl's saying he said he said it was reductive in a way that makes you think he doesn't know what the word reductive means. 10 out of 10.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
It isn't the first time he's done something that made me go, look at him a little sideways. Remember that kid Ahmed who was the clock kid?
The clock guy from Dallas, yeah.
Yeah. He built a clock, and he built it in from scratch. And because he was a brown Arab kid, people thought it was a bomb. And people were like, typical Texas, and they're like, calling out all the racism that the school had to deal with. And then he was defending Texas for some weird reason and saying, well, we shouldn't be calling Texas this. We shouldn't be. He was completely just like,
yeah,
I don't know.
Not everybody from Texas is bad. Like, oh my guy, you're missing the point here.
Yeah. It was weird. So, and then I went down this Stephen Amell rabbit hole, and apparently a lot of the cast members do not like him. He is not liked. And I didn't believe this. I was like, there's no way they don't like him. I've seen the video of them hanging out. I know Grant Gustin and him are friends. And then they were like, no, they were up to a point. And then the last Crisis episode that they did, he was so difficult to work with that almost none of them are friends with him anymore.
Damn.
This is on my Twitter. If there's a thread on my Twitter that's someone's explaining this, and I'm just like, what? And it was bizarre. And then the actual cast of Arrow, every single person who's on it, who's worked on it, who's a writer, who's an actor, they're actually having their own picket march with everybody except for him there.
Surprise, surprise, right?
Yeah. And then Grant Gustin was out there. So all of the people were out there except for Ollie, which is ironic because the Green Arrow is the most hippie socialist superhero there is.
Correct. He's based on Robin Hood.
Right, literally.
Come on.
Bizarre. Neek said he was never the brightest person. He was just good for shirtless scenes and fighting Batman villains. That's so true. That's so true.
Carlos saying Kirk Acevedo from Arrow tweeted this fucking guy about Amell. That's beautiful.
How to ruin your career in one interview. And the thing is he was the thing he said was, I wish that this wasn't public. He didn't even apologize for saying what he was saying. He was just like, I just wish I would have kept this private. Bro, you weren't talking to your wife. You were at a panel at a con, and you said this out loud. It's not like he was talking to his wife and somebody recorded it without his knowledge and leaked it. No, bro, you were talking to the press basically.
Yeah, he's not bright.
Yeah. Oh, Neek says he was. Oh, and Neek has a lot of information. He says he was pissed that the last Crisis revolved around other characters and not mostly him. It was his final episode, and he was a side character in his own finale. Oh, he was a Spectre. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
It is what it is. Cry me a river.
All right. Well, he wasn't the only one, Jazz. Zachary Levy also came out and said that it was dumb. But to be fair, Zachary Levi's thing was a little bit more, I guess, understandable than Stephen Amell's, because he was at a convention and he's like, yeah, I can't talk about any of my old work, which is dumb. And I can see how frustrating frustrating that would be. You go to a Comic-Con panel, all these people came to see you, and they want to talk about what you've done, and you can't talk about it, right? I can see the frustration in that. He should have worded it a little better, but I can kind of undersee his point.
I can kind of see it too. The work's been done in the past. They weren't striking that work back then. I kind of get where he's coming from, but yes, it does hurt the strike in the long run, so therefore he shouldn't do it. But yeah, that definitely should have been handled better then. So okay.
Yeah. Even a lot of the like influencers and stuff, they were like, "Hey, I'm going to talk about movies in the past," and they were like, and then there was a lot of confusion. We'd be like, "Well, no, you still can't talk about."
We had that confusion, yeah.
Right? There's a lot of confusion, so I can see the process being dumb and the loss of information being dumb. But like, listen, man, you got to stand with your people. This is like a time like where like you got to be united, and like
Right.
Jamie Lee Curtis also came out and said, "I'm just neutral. I'm just Switzerland in the situation." Like, come on, Switzerland. Like, no, you're part of SAG. You gotta roll with your crew.
See, and every time I hear these people talk, I'm like, you're also one of the richer people in the situation.
Yeah.
Like, you're coming from a place where you are privileged and other people are not. So, and yeah, as far as saying, in fairness to Zachary Levi, he full-throatedly supported the strike. So, okay.
What does that mean, full-throatedly, bro?
You know what? That's not what we're gonna focus on here. We're gonna focus on the part where he supported the strike. Okay.
I don't know what Carlos is talking about. Oh man. Okay. All right. All right. I'm still not out of bad news yet, bro. I still got more.
Bring it on. Let's go.
All right. Jabs, you remember when you and me were in a chat room and or a group chat, and we got in trouble for not loving or supporting Sound of Freedom?
Yeah, I remember that quite well, actually.
Yeah. So me and Jazz, like, we don't hate the Sound of Freedom. We just didn't like watch it. And then a lot of our friends were talking about there's like all these conspiracy theories.
Okay, not a lot of friends, just one specific friend.
Okay, one specific friend. One person. I don't even know who that is, actually, to be honest. I don't remember.
I met her recently.
Okay. Yeah, she hates it. I'm sorry.
I'm pretty sure she does.
I'm sorry, but here's the thing, like I get it, like people watch this movie and they're like, whoa, this is such a good movie, man, everyone should watch it, which fine, totally fine with that. But then they're saying, yo, Hollywood's trying to shut this movie down, everyone's trying to shut this movie down, and there's all these conspiracy theorists around this movie, and it's kind of like they're like, you know, really out there, weird QAnon like conspiracy theorists, and it turned out the guy who financed the movie and his executive producer, yeah, he got like charged with like kidnapping.
Yeah. He's not just like, you know, some small person, because I know people are like, oh, well, this whole movie was crowdfunded, he was just one supporter. No, he was not one supporter. He gave 5 million of the 15 million they raised for the movie.
Yeah,
he is 1/3 of the crowdfund.
Yeah, and Anik just said in the comments, that's just their marketing. I agree. That's what me and Jazz said. Me and Jazz said, hey,
yeah,
don't take too much stock in this. It's just really good marketing. And people were like, no, you're part of like the Hollywood elites that like want to like hide this under. I'm like, yo, our tiny little podcast just hit 1,000. Yo, we're not like doing that.
We're not that big, no. And yeah, like when I saw people really defending this movie, I'm like, okay, well, marketing works for you guys. I also know who I need to avoid in the future.
Yeah.
But no, Sound of Freedom, that guy did get charged. One thing I do. Comments here.
Yeah, Miss Brown Sugar have a comment. We love Mr. Brown Sugar. Welcome. We haven't seen you in a while. She says, well, the point is you're going to a con and promoting a product the studios continually get rich on. Every time you mention the name, you're helping them. Yeah,
correct.
Totally agree. It's a tough spot to be in because, you know, people paid for this before the strike happened. They were contracted to come here before the strike happened, and then they couldn't really do anything. So while we 100% agree with you, I could just understand what the frustration is, but like, I feel like what he did is not as bad as what Stephen Amell did. Stephen Amell was pretty bad.
I mean, yeah, he can talk about him being frustrated, but he should not be promoting things. And if he didn't, then yeah, he's absolutely fine talking about how frustrated he is. Good, that's a point. It's a strike. Everyone's frustrated. So Hollywood, pay your writers, pay your people. Let's get back to work.
Pay your people.
With that said, look who's here.
Rocky, welcome to the show. Dude, I don't know if you're like psychic or not, but we just ran through like a whole bunch of bad news. And now that we're doing happy news, you're here. What a surprise.
Well, the thing is, you don't want too much bad at the same time, right? That's why I'm here.
So so you're coming with the good to balance it out. Got it.
Yeah.
Right. Love you, bro.
So we just finished talking about that movie Sound of Freedom and how one of the producers on there, one of the producers on there got in trouble for kidnapping apparently. And
child kidnapping I think was the charge, right?
Child kidnapping. So as someone who works in anti-money laundering, the Sound of Freedom feels like a huge money laundering operation. Carlos, you work in anti-money laundering? Oh my God, Carlos he seems cooler and cooler.
We learn something new every day about Carlos. He's amazing.
That is awesome. I love that like people who listen to the podcast, like they get to know some of these characters on the show that are not on the show, but they're on the show because they're always in the chat. I really, really love that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now that you're here, let's start with some good news, bro. How you been? First of all, you good?
I have been fantastic, and it's been too long since I've been on, so I missed you guys for 48 hours. That was
we missed you too.
Yeah, so I'm glad I'm back on. If we don't do this every day, it might get bad for me.
It's like therapy, bro. You need therapy.
That's exactly right.
You can talk about all your like annoying TV stuff here, and then when you go on dates, you can talk about things that are worthwhile.
That's exactly right. Also, I just needed to find like a good group of like Sound of Freedom fans. So I'm glad that this is the right space for it. This is.
Listen, somebody go into his house right now and make sure he's not kidnapping someone. There's nobody in his basement.
I'm on my way.
It's Texas. We don't even have that.
Oh, you don't even have basements in Texas.
Yeah, we don't know. No, we have to kidnap people in the attic and take them to the attic. That's what we have to do.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was wondering. I'm pretty sure that person's just holding the light for you because your lighting is like good for the first time ever.
I think you brought up such interesting things when I came on, child kidnapping, strike, so automatically the mood's lifting here.
Yeah. He's like, let me make sure my face is seen now that we're talking about this stuff. All right. Let's talk about some fun stuff, man. Let's talk about fantastic forecasting rumors. What are your thoughts, Rocky? This is all you.
I'm sort of looking forward to it. Vanessa Kirby is great casting. I'm really excited about that. I hope it's true and I hope it goes through. She's a really exciting actress. I know we're going to talk about Mission Impossible soon, but she was incredible in Dead Reckoning. So that's the one I'm most excited for. The Mr. Fantastic, I got to be honest, I'm actually kind of excited about it because we've got interesting people. I love Matt Smith and I love Dev Patel. I think those are both very interesting casts. I think I'd be fine with either, even though I do understand the criticism that like Matt Smith might be an obvious choice. But
the thing is, so a lot of people said that Reed Richards needs to be conventionally good looking. Because he's like a scientist, he's a nerd, but he gets like the baddest bitch, right? So like they're like he needs to be conventionally good looking, and their thing was Matt Smith and Dev Patel aren't, and I'm just like that's not true.
Wait, is Dev Patel not considered conventionally good looking?
I would say he is.
He's Indian.
Because
let the racist people talk.
Then we should just like pack our bags at that point. There's just nothing to be done here.
Yeah.
You're right.
And Damon Targaryen, come on, man.
I would love it to be Dev Patel. That would blow my mind. That'd be so awesome. And also, Matt Smith can do no wrong, in my opinion. Like I'm a huge Matt Smith fan from Doctor Who.
My favorite Doctor.
He is my favorite Doctor too. I love him. Mm-hmm. He's so
Matt Smith 11th, the best Doctor ever.
Yeah. I mean, I love me some 10th Doctor, but David Tennant is also amazing. But no, Matt Smith is my favorite Doctor. So I think David Tennant is the better actor, but Matt Smith is the better Doctor. That's my hot take.
That's interesting. Okay.
Because if you see the Purple Man and Jessica Jones, dude, Purple Man and Jessica Jones is probably the best.
Oh, incredible! Oh yeah. I don't know if you've ever seen the Casanova show that David Tennant did back in the day with also with Russell T Davies. Great show.
Oh no, I haven't actually. It's interesting. But yeah, and I think there was a third person in that mix too. I don't remember who the third person, but these were the two.
I think Adam Driver. They still want to get him, even though he's refused it twice. But I think they're still.
Oh, a white guy that's not conventionally good looking. So it's like...
You're gonna get the Adam Driver stands on you.
Hey, just because he's not conventionally good looking doesn't mean he's not good looking. You can
That's
be
fair. That's fair.
You can be good looking. What's to say what's conventional still? Yeah, I don't know. It looks really good. They got some guy for the Human Torch, also the guy from Stranger Things.
Yeah, apparently that's a rumor. Originally, like there's a rumor that like Jack Quaid was going to be.
Yeah, that was a rumor too.
And then then it was the scooper got confused. I think Jeff Snyder was the one that broke the scoop. I think, and he was like, oh no, it's actually Joseph Quinn, not Jack Quaid. So that could be interesting. Yeah, I think it's been a couple of years now. I think since we've had these rumors. So yeah, I'm down to see what they do. Matt Shackman seems like an interesting filmmaker. I don't know how you guys have felt about the recent MCU stuff, but I've kind of taken a backseat. But maybe if this turns out to be interesting, I'll hop back on.
Yeah.
Real quick, I need to go take care of my dog, so I'm gonna hop off. But
sure.
I may come back, may not. We'll see.
All right, sure, Des. So Rocky, they haven't said anything about the Thing though, and like people are really pushing for the Thing to be cast as the Jewish person. But
yeah, I did read that. Yeah.
But all they said is they're looking for a fat white guy. That's all they said.
I mean, Michael Chiklis just gave such a wonderful performance.
I love Michael Chiklis. Have you seen The Shield?
Yes, huge, massive Shield fan.
Oh my god, that is one of the grittiest cop shows I've ever seen, and Michael Chiklis is like insanely good in that.
God, so good in that. Looking back at those two sort of Fantastic Four movies, I do think they have like a certain charm to them. I'm not trying to rehabilitate sort of old superhero movies, but I think there's a little charm to them that's like, sort of missing today.
I think that movie was before its time, because I feel like the same people who were cast in that movie were cast in this timeline with a better director could pull that off like crazy well.
Chris Evans, incredible Human Torch. Jessica Alba, just sublime as Invisible Woman.
Yeah.
And like Silver Surfer, man, like the red. I mean, we're talking 2006, I think, or 2007 when the Rise of the Silver Surfer came out. Like the CGI is impeccable on Silver Surfer. Like it looks incredible. The whole New York action sequence with him and the Human Torch like holds up very well.
It really does. And also like the guy who plays Dr. Doom, he was a fantastic Dr. Doom.
Right. Maybe we are just rehabilitating those two movies. You know what? Let's bring it back. Those movies are great.
I mean, look, man, that's what I'm saying. They're just before their time. Like they were part of the campy universe, and it went too hard in the campy direction.
Maybe it's because sort of like, I guess you and I were part of the generation that grew up with that and Ben Affleck's Daredevil and, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man and, if you go further back a little bit, X-Men and Blade. So I think that there's a little bit of sort of interesting transitions in those movies. I would throw Ang Lee's Hulk in there, which I thought sort of visually very interesting films that you don't really get anymore.
Yeah. That was a very interesting choice for a director. That's the same guy who did Brokeback Mountain. So to go from Brokeback Mountain,
Sense and Sensibility, and of course the masterpiece that is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yeah. just wild. So I thought that was interesting. I don't know. I'd really be interested, but once they cast this, I think that's when the MCU is going to be back. Like the Fantastic Four, I think is going to be a big part of like the next universe, and they say that the storyline is going to start in the 60s and then they're going to somehow teleport into the 2000s via like kind of like Captain America.
I remember reading this is years ago that Peyton Reed, who's the director of the Ant-Man movies, had a pitch for Fantastic Four and that pitch was essentially them making it big and starting in the 60s and then being lost in the quantum realm and then coming back to present day. I don't know if that's still the route they're going or they're doing something else, but I'm sort of in for like a 60s caper with the Fantastic Four. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting. I don't know. I'm really excited to see where it goes, because like the other question is like it would be an origin movie, or how else would you explain where they've been this whole time?
Right, exactly, right. I mean, clearly they got stuck somewhere else, whether it's in like space or the quantum realm, whatever it is. Yeah. So I'll be interested to see what happens. And then of course we've got the new Deadpool movie coming out and however that's supposed to tie into everything. So
I'm very curious because like
it's gonna be an interesting few years for sure.
Because Fantastic Four was also 20th Century Fox with X-Men.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So they can make references to that in the Deadpool without hesitation.
You get to see Hugh Jackman in the yellow suit, so you know, there's heavy rumors of Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart coming back again, and you know, there's just I think a charm to that old cast. I would love to see James Marsden back as Cyclops. I just saw him in Jury Duty, and he was fantastic in that.
Dude, I love Jury Duty. Okay, I think we can promote Jury Duty because I don't think it's part of a studio. Jury Duty is such a great little I don't know, experiment. It's what you call it.
It's so good, and
it's amazing.
Do you want to give like a quick synopsis of what the concept is?
Okay, so basically what happens is this guy was selected to be part of a documentary. The documentary is on jury duty. So he's like, okay, they're just going to film what he's doing during jury duty. So he goes into jury duty and he's hoping he doesn't get picked. He ends up getting picked. A few other people get picked. James Marsden, Cyclops, is there and he's trying to get out of it and he gets caught. And then basically they're all part of a jury duty. There's a bunch of people and Cyclops basically is a alternate. But what turns out, it's not real. Everyone is an actor. The judge is an actor. The security guard is an actor. All of the other jury duty people are actors. Only one guy is a real person. And all his experiences, all these weird things happens. And everyone just it's just bizarre. It's so bizarre. And they picked a great guy to prank this on because he was such a good guy.
He's such a lovely person, isn't he? Yeah. Just truly a model citizen in every way.
It was really, really good. And then I would highly recommend people watch that. I forgot what channel it's on. So
it's on Amazon Prime.
Oh, then maybe we shouldn't have promoted it. Yeah. My bad. I thought it was on TV or some weird channel like that.
Yeah, I think so. I saw it on Amazon Prime. I think that was the studio that had it. I'm not sure what it was originally on. Or maybe they just did produce it actually.
No, I think some other company, some really Tubi or something like that, did it, and then Amazon bought it off them to distribute.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Freevee, I think it's called FREE. Okay. I think they were the ones who did it.
I thought it was a very interesting sociological experiment, but also I was sort of worried about, I guess, how they would do the prank because it's 3 weeks of a person's life where you're a whole host of people are lying to him. But I thought it was done really tastefully, really well, and at the end it was just super heartwarming. I think it's a very good feel-good show that's some good, interesting commentary on our judicial system, and definitely recommend it.
Yeah, it was very much Truman Show vibes, as in the comments. It was insane. Prime airs Freevee shows. Primo is another one. Yeah,
Carlos. Got it.
Carlos. Okay. Yeah. So okay, before we got sidetracked, what were we talking about?
We were talking about Marvel and the X-Men. That's how we got to James Marsden.
Oh, the X-Men. Yeah. So I actually went and rewatched Guardians of the Galaxy because it's now on Disney Plus.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, it is better the second time around, bro. Are you
talking about Volume 3?
Volume 3.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I really liked it because it's. I mean, I forgot where I read this, but great science fiction in general is supposed to have heavy themes and make you, contemplate certain things. I think a lot of this stuff, even though it was sort of heavy and a little dark for family-friendly movies, but just extremely tastefully done, and made you feel the impact of, I guess, a lot of the topics such as animal abuse and that sort of thing, but didn't go overboard. And I think it was. Yeah, I think this is what movies should do. They should, promote.
They really should. I didn't cry when I watched it in the theaters because I guess I don't really do that in person. But I was watching it last night in my house, and I was just the scene where Lila gets shot and he's just crying, and then Flora's like rocket, floor, teeth, go now, and she's saying it like a toddler, so it's a little toddler saying let's go now. It was so crushing. And what happens is they said they all react to fear in different ways, whereas Rocket fights and attacks them. Floor wants to leave, so she's like, Rocket T, Floor, go now. Rocket T, Floor, go now. And then T just stands there and freeze. So it's like flight, fight, freeze. That's what all three of them did when Lila died. And I was just like, bro, that just blew my mind. I'm just like, this is so well done.
I think it's sort of reminiscent of what the MCU used to be. I think it's probably the best looking MCU film since
a while.
I can't even remember. Probably since Guardians too, honestly. But
to be fair, I know a lot of people don't like it. I think Eternals is a very good looking film.
I think so too. I think because I think Chloe Zhao, and rightfully so, like she shoots on a lot of real locations. I think there's a lot of like interesting backlighting going on there. I think it's a very good looking film.
Good looking film.
Yeah, I mean you can talk about the content and how stuff plays out, and that's the whole thing together. But like it does have some really sort of visually striking shots.
Yeah. All right. No, it was really good.
I gotta rewatch it. It's been a while. I only saw it in the theater, so I might be due for a rewatch.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend giving it a rewatch. It was pretty good. Good.
That's gonna be next on the list.
Yeah. All right. Miss Marvel came back around on TV this week, which was pretty crazy. So they had it air on ABC on network television, which means that the writers and the actors will get more residuals for that. So that's interesting.
Fantastic. That's honestly that's the best news.
Yeah, I was really happy about that. I was like, okay, cool, because they're putting it on network TV and on ABC, and more people get to see it. But they did this weird thing where they promoted Miss Marvel and the Marvels in the same commercial. I'd never seen them do that before. Okay. That was really, really cool.
Some good brand synergy there. Did you like Secret Invasion? Did you enjoy that?
You obviously don't listen to our podcast because we shit on that show for the last 3 episodes. I will tell you that
I am 5 episodes behind, is what I
Okay. Dude, we did not we started off really, really loving Secret Invasion because we thought there was so much potential there.
Right.
The last 3 episodes, we had a huge change of hearts. We did not like it.
Yeah, that's what I haven't seen it yet. I sort of, I guess, fell off the MCU wagon for a little bit because it was just too much to keep up. I feel like they're now having the same problems that comic books is that there's too much content. People don't know where to start.
Yeah,
and it's becoming a little too much. So I'm glad they're scaling back a bit. Look, we need all types of movies to be successful. And I think,
exactly.
There's something to be said for the Marvel movies sort of keeping theaters alive. So I think there's a space for them. But I'm glad that we're getting sort of different kinds of movies. That's a healthy movie market.
This month alone, not just including Barbenheimer, but also like TMNT, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Super Mario. There's a few non Disney IPs that are doing well. So
we were talking about Sound of Freedom.
Sound of Freedom. Oh man, we're gonna get these people out. They're gonna come after us, man. Listen, we have no problem with that movie, okay? We just have a problem with the conspiracy theorists. It's kind of like rolling our eyes at them. Rocky is this conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, no, we need Jim Caviezel back as Jesus in Passion of the Christ too. That's what I want. To Jesus, to Christ.
I was actually a big Jim Caviezel fan. The Count of Monte Cristo was one of my favorite movies.
Oh yeah, that's a banger, man. Yeah. Yeah. Let's get that Passion of the Christ sequel going. Let's move it.
The sequel.
Mel Gibson's mentioned that a couple times that he wants to make a sequel to that movie, and he has got a lot of ideas. We've got Ridley Scott doing Gladiator 2, so let's get it. Let's get Caviezel back.
I don't know. How would that work? Wouldn't Jesus need to come back first, or are we just going to like?
I maybe it's like the this is when they depart from the book, like Game of Thrones.
Oh God! All right. Let's switch to another show. Have you seen this new show called My Adventures with Superman? It's actually really, really well done.
It's really sweet, and as a massive Superman fan, it really warms my heart. I think the characterization's great. I think Lois Lane in it is fantastic. I think the world is great. I'm having a blast watching that show.
It reminds me of like Avatar: The Last Airbender in the Superman world. Like the actors, the animation, that's what it reminds me of. And there's a lot of like I guess like redesigns of like villains and stuff.
Yes,
even
yes.
even Superman, I feel like is a little different. And Jimmy Olsen's black. I think Lois is Asian. You
Right,
can't really
right.
tell, but like I think it's like implied.
Okay, gotcha.
Really cool. The animation is really cool. It takes a while to get used to it because like I'm used to the '90s animation from like
Were you ever a fan of the Fleischer cartoons from the '40s? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Like Super Friends?
No, like Superman with like it was called The Adventures of Superman. It was called from the Fleischer. It was the one where he has the S on the red shield. So remember in Superman and Lois when he's wearing that costume in the beginning?
Yeah.
A direct reference to the '40s cartoon.
Oh, I didn't know that was a cartoon. I thought that was
that's
like
where
comic.
it's a bird, it's a plane, it's Superman.
Yeah. Oh, I know what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Where he fights like those big mechanical monsters and that sort of thing. Changes in the phone booth. All that good stuff.
I remember that now. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
There's a certain kind of wholesome quality to Superman that like I think this show brings back, and I'm there for it.
Yeah, it did get little weird for me the first episode when he does like a costume change and he turns out like Sailor Moon. He's just getting his like super costume. I thought that was a little weird.
It was kind of like I sort of like my superheroes a little more tactile.
Yeah,
I was even the whole nanotech stuff in the MC. I was like, I just like the physical tangibility of things.
Yeah,
I like the classic shirt rip. I guess I'm a sucker for it.
Me too. It's a good TV show. I would say go watch it. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I think. Another stuff in news. Hasan Minaj is supposed to be rumored to be the next host for the Daily Show.
I would absolutely love that. I think he'd be great at it. I think both of us were sort of religious watchers of the Patriot Act. I think it was.
I love Patriot Act. I was there. I was at a few tapings.
Oh, nice. How was it?
It's really fun. It happens just like the show. It's not like they have like several takes. They do the whole thing in one take. And then at the end, they'll like redo one or two scenes if they didn't come out right. And they'll tell the audience. Really cool. But Hasan Minaj just goes through it, man. He just rips through that whole thing. Like pretty much,
fantastic.
Yeah, pretty much he did the whole thing live. And then like they came back and they were like, okay, we didn't get the sound right or something was wrong when this happened. So we need you to do that. Or they said, hey, can you use this joke instead? And like, I think like they tried 2 or 3 different jokes that like, they're like, in case the network doesn't accept this joke, like, can you go back and do this one? But other than that, like, it's not like a taping where they do like everything and then you go on to the next scene, then the next scene, then the next scene. It was really like a run through. The only breaks he gets is like when they're showing something on the video.
Incredible. Wow.
Yeah, it's literally like a TED Talk. Like he does it the whole way through.
I did go to his last stand-up actually here in Sugarland. It was the King's Jester. I guess I had not seen too much of his stand-up, so I kind of walked in a little blind, and I really liked it. I thought he had some great stories. His entire segment on the Saudi consulate and all of that was wild. Some really wild and incredible stuff.
He's banned from Saudi Arabia. That's bizarre. That's so wild. I didn't know Saudi Arabia could do that, man. Muslims have to go there.
That's when you know you're doing things right.
Yeah. That's wild.
Incredible. Yeah, I'd be over the moon if he got it. I think he's a great replacement. I think he'd be great.
Yeah, that's cool. Any other things you want to talk about? Anything that happened this week that you want to discuss or that we haven't gotten over yet?
I'm not sure if you folks went over Barbie grossing $1 billion, but that was
we didn't. But congrats to Barbie. We did talk a little bit about Barbie, but not that it actually grossed $1 billion. That's awesome. She's the first female director to gross that much.
Man, I'm so excited for Greta Gerwig. That's wonderful. I hope this sort of opens because I think the big message here to take away, I think, from the whole Barbenheimer thing is, there's an audience for adult movies. There's an audience for female movies. There's an audience for, counter programming. And if you make them and you make them well and you market them, people will show up.
Exactly. Like the marketing was done so well for this movie. And I love the fact, and this is me because I'm petty, and you know me, I love to be petty. Yeah. The fact that like their savior movie for the year was The Flash, and it was the worst movie they did. And then Barbie saved the WB. That's just wild.
Oh, isn't that just wonderful? I mean, the weird thing was I remember walking out of the Flash and thinking, and I was like, yeah, it's fine, decent time. But I'm glad that it was sort of Barbie that brought things along. And 2 years ago, I never would have called it, but this is just great. This is just great to see.
I think a lot of it is just meme culture.
Yes. Absolutely.
People are like, let's just, wouldn't it be funny if we picked Donald Trump as president? Wouldn't it be funny if we let Barbie beat Oppenheimer? That's the kind of generation we are these days.
Like, my mom's going to go see it tomorrow, and she maybe goes to the theater maybe 3 or 4 times a year max.
Oh, that's funny.
So yeah, I'm glad, man. Like for both movies, honestly. I mean, I have not seen packed crowds in theaters to see like a 3-hour biopic, and since who knows when.
I have never seen people watch 2 movies in one day. That's just like wild.
I remember like that used to be a thing in 2006 to 2009. That was.
We used to sneak into theaters. I remember you go to one and you just hop into the next one.
Oh God, that was fun. Sorry, I sort of spaced out thinking about the good old days.
The good old days. No, that's good. All right, well, we're at the top of the hour, so if you don't have anything else, that's the end of the show, man. Thank you for coming on the show. Always appreciate you. You're welcome every Sunday. We just talk about, you missed all the bad news that we talked about. There were tons of it, but go back.
I'm assuming I because of the mention, I missed the Stephen Amell stuff.
Yeah. We mentioned the Stephen Amell stuff. We mentioned Angus Cloud, who died in Euphoria. We talked about Paul Rubbens passing away. So a lot of the sad parts we kind of just already talked about. But yeah, did you hear about the rumor there might be a Wonder Woman 3 with Gal Gadot?
So I saw that she said that. So I will say, the interview she gave was recorded earlier because they can't do any interviews or promotions because of the strike now. So this was a while back. I think I'll say this: while I'm rooting for the DCU, I'm rooting for James Gunn, and I like his work. I think there's still such a lack of clarity in what's going on and how this new universe is taking shape. And I get that part of the problem is because they had Flash and they had Aquaman too, which still hasn't come out yet.
Yeah,
you can't say that it's over. We're dusting this and starting afresh because they're gonna tank. But it's sort of, I think that's really the problem, is we're not sure what exactly is going on, because first it was Superman Legacy is gonna start it afresh, but then Blue Beetle's kind of part of it somehow, and we have Creature Commandos coming. So there's still, I'm not quite sure what exactly is the move.
It's bizarre right now. And I agree with you. I think it's just one of those things where they're like, if we say Aquaman isn't part of the universe and we're gonna start scratch right after Aquaman, that movie is going to lose so much money.
Oh man, speaking of Aquaman, poor James Wan had to be rushed to the ER last week.
No way.
Yeah. So I don't know what exactly the issue was, but he'd made an Instagram post about it. But I think he's doing better now. I mean, that film's been troubled for so long. It's been through, I think, like 3 rounds of reshoots because there's been 3 changing of the guards at Warner Brothers at this point. So I can't imagine.
Also, the Amber Heard stuff that people wanted her taken out of the movie.
It's just, I mean, there's a part that there was the Walter Hamada stuff where he wanted Michael Keaton to sort of be the Nick Fury of the universe and build that. Then that got chucked out. They brought back Ben Affleck briefly. Now that's chucked out. So, who knows what's happening now. But, I kind of really like the first one. I think the first one was great. Sort of super pulpy, unabashed comic bookiness. And I'm rooting for James Wan. I'm a big fan of his. But, hope he's doing better. And, I'm still rooting for the movie.
All right. Well, we'll see how that comes out. Well, that's all we got for this week, guys. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you all the people that joined in the comments. Thank you, everybody that joined on Spotify and Apple Podcast. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Most of all, give us a good review. We only got like 8 reviews on Spotify. Hit us up with the 5 stars. Hit us up with the 5 stars, man. Get a few more up there. It takes 1 second. It takes 1 second. All right. Anyway, thank you guys for joining us. And until next time, guys, Salaam, nerds.